What is up, my MMA brothers and sisters? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk MMA. Hold up. You know, it's a one man on the two turntables right here. Hold up, I got you guys right here. So, I am your host, Raul. Thank you again for showing up. Thank you for being a part of this. Now, I'm doing it live right now because it's a little bit easier for me. Before, I used to kind of make them bigger projects. I would record it, put it all together, do the editing, and it would just take me all day to do a video. So I'm trying to do a little more content. I'm trying to streamline this. And so I wanted to do a special shout out. Each time I do a video, usually I get a couple of comments in there and I find some new people, new subscribers. And you guys who have just kind of put it out there in the comments and giving me praise, giving me props and that kind of thing, I want you to let you know that goes a long way. It obviously is a lot of work. There ain't no money doing this, I'll tell you that right now. But the passion of MMA, talking MMA, honestly, I started doing this because all my friends are out working, and the talking MMA just didn't happen. And so I kind of needed a fix, if you know what I mean. So thank you guys for joining in. On today's show, I want to go back really quick to UFC Copenhagen. There was a lot to chew on there. So I just wanted to kind of throw out a few highlights really quick, some things to kind of look forward to, certain things if you missed, you should definitely go back to. But it was a great weekend of fights. Bellator fights were great. I really want to do more on the Bellator side, but I know if I need to do an episode, I need to kind of hit these hot topics that you guys are mostly interested in. But hey, there was a lot of great MMA this past weekend, so hopefully you guys had a good time. So let's get this going. Let's see here. So the very first thing I got for you guys is kind of the main thing out of UFC Copenhagen that kind of came out of it, and it's Jared Cannonier. I saw Jared Cannonier when he was a heavyweight in the UFC, and very first fight, this guy just brings it. He hits hard, and I then started becoming surprised that he started going down in weight. I believe he did even have a light heavyweight fight, and then even got now is in middleweight, got a win there, and I was like, dude, this guy is ripped. He's the same guy, charges forward, brings the heat. He's just slimmed down, and he's not carrying all this extra weight. I think when people move weight classes, it just depends on the person. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But for Jared Cannonier, he's still got the power. It looks like he's more agile. Obviously very healthy, all these positives, and obviously he got the win this past weekend. And another great thing that I really like is his post interview in the cage, and even afterwards on the post show at ESPN. Just a gentleman, and I'm not even surprised. He's training out of the lab with Benson Henderson and Henry Corrales and all these great guys that are over there. And there's a couple guys that I follow and everything, but I really want to get on the show and get a conversation with some of these guys, because when you talk about martial arts, yes, I enjoy the shit talking. It's very entertaining. I get it. But martial arts is supposed to be respectful. And Jared Cannonier, pure violence. Pure violence in the cage. We're going to get the violence. We're going to get the craziness in the cage, which is where we want it the most. But after the fact, gentlemen, even before the fact, gentlemen, it was just great to kind of see it. So big ups to Jared Cannonier on his win. My question for you guys is, do you foresee him being a champion here at middleweight? Obviously, he definitely's got the tools. If you noticed and you looked at this fight, you could tell that he's got a lot of skills. A lot of that muscle memory, and again, the lab is a well-rounded gym, and for a guy that you would think is just heavy on the hands, just swinging like crazy, there was a lot of technique that Jared showed, and so I'm going to say he definitely has that ability to become champion, and who knows? I don't think it's the next one, but maybe he's one fight away. So you guys tell me what you think. Is he going to become a champion? Do you think he can become a champion? And what did you guys think about Jared Cannonier and ultimately his win that just happened? All right, what do we got next here? Next up, we got Marc Madsen. Okay, so Marc Madsen, I can't come to learn, is the Olympian, Greco-Roman freaking beast. And so when I started seeing a little bit of the background and that he was going to fight, obviously he was the co-main event. Um, I was paying attention, because his record for MMA I think at the time was 7-0. Now he's 8-0. That's not a lot of fights. But if you were to count how many wrestling matches did this man have, he has a ton of experience. So either way, he gets in here, he takes the guy to the ground, he beats him down, and then I see that he's a freaking lightweight. So right away, I'm like, holy shit, this guy versus Khabib. I want to see it. I got super excited. Now, this guy's just getting started. You know, Obviously, it's not like he's fighting the top guys and performing in this exact way. He's got a lot to prove. But my question to you guys is, should Marc Madsen get a UFC rocket ship attached to his back? Like, with that kind of performance, let's not bullshit too much. Some people where they say, oh, you're pushing them too fast. Yeah, those are people that trained MMA and are still kind of learning to put it all together. As we know with Khabib, you could be heavy on one discipline if you're great at that discipline. Damian Maia damn near got a belt just off of jiu-jitsu. He just kind of got figured out. But this guy could truly probably beat a lot of these big names. We got to see it first, right? But if he goes through it and gets in line before Khabib's heading out the door, as we kind of talked about last time about all this, right? What do you guys think? Obviously, I'm going a little too fast. He's got to prove himself. I get it. But if you see those skills and you kind of match those up with Khabib, I mean, we got to fight. We got to fight. I would freaking love it. You guys tell me what you think about that, and we'll move along here. All right, so the next one, which is so funny here, we got OSP. The question is, can OSP become champion? Now, just looking at the rankings here, UFC rankings, and I understand they don't mean anything, but they do mean a lot when it comes to a pecking order, right? Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit, but in a sense, when you see OSP and I go down top 15 and his name ain't on it, it's kind of like, dude, the guy's so good that must mean that the division's obviously fairly deep. There's a lot of new names already in there, but there's matches that, these newer names, like Johnny Walker, for example, that OSP needs to fight. And OSP, last week, I said he's not the most exciting, but he can be exciting. And it's just his style. He doesn't throw a lot. So it's not exciting in the sense that you don't really know if he's going to pop off. But if he does, we get some excitement. Overall, as far as the fight goes, what I was truly impressed with, and at the end of the fight, he said something about his weight cut was the best and he felt the most hydrated. He was taking some big shots and he was still in the pocket. He was still right there, still in the stand-up. And it was a little weird, just like, dude, you're getting lit up. Why are you still kind of standing right in front of him? And somebody on the broadcast, I think it was Dan Hardy, had said, it's almost as if he feels he took the best shot. And he's not that concerned. And I would agree. It was kind of like that, where he just kept on going. The round ended, but I was like, wait, is he just turning the tide? Because a lot of fighters have done that, right? Let your opponent just throw the freaking kitchen sink. Once they're done with that, they don't got that juice anymore. So I was like, maybe this is just his strategy. But next round comes in. What's he do? Takes him down. Catches him with the the Von Flue, which should just be the OSP choke, which I think this is his fourth one now. And I enjoy that. If your strengths, a fighter's strengths, are on the ground, let's go. Let's go. Don't try to stand up. Don't try to prove a point. Of course, we love to see two guys throw hands and beat each other up. But I think remember, we talked about hardcores and we talked about casuals. The casuals need to learn a little bit more about the sport and realize that it's not just stand-up. This isn't just kickboxing or boxing. There's ground games. There's throwing. There's submissions. There's so many different positions that could be good, bad, so on and so forth. And when you see enough fights, you know how much it could change. And these guys are so good nowadays that they can get up. You know, unlike before, they would get taken to the ground. Oh, there goes the whole round. Nowadays, the skills are so high that there could always be excitement. I went out on a little bit of a rant there, but my point is this. OSP took it where he needed to take it, and he got the win. If more fighters, including him, are to do that moving forward, those fighters are going to truly get the wins that they deserve if they do the things that they're the best at. So, moving on, I spent plenty of time on here, but OSP, fantastic job. I'd like to see a top 15 fight. I think he's more than deserving. I mean, he went, rounds with John Jones, and he's been around. And I would say he's definitely still getting better. So let's go. Let's get him back in the mix. He's a little too far for my taste. All right. Next up. Oh, man. Let's get the hype train rolling. All right. So the deal here, obviously it's fight week. It's the pay-per-view event. So the idea typically is that we have the biggest card of the month, right? The pay-per-view is the biggest card of the month, but this one in a way gives me that fight night feel. Now, you know me, I love fights, period, but when it's a pay-per-view, when it's supposed to be a big deal, and I know you only pay for the main card, but this feels like there's a lot of local guys again, or debuting guys, so there's not a ton of name value per se. But I will bring up what I'm most excited about, and I want to hear what you guys are most excited about. Now, I got a couple of fights that I'm going to show you guys in a moment, but while I got this little thumbnail up here, let's talk about the main event. Let's just start at the top. Whittaker, Adesanya. I want to know who you got, and forgive me, I don't do it this time, but believe me when I say I want to have a lot more of polls. Right, we need more people. So in order to do a poll and a contest, we just have to have a group of people. But I want you to be able to comment who you pick, and if you pick, I'm gonna start giving out shirts and that kind of stuff, so we could really have some prizes and mix the pot up a little bit. But ultimately, I want to know who you got, and I'll give you guys my 2 cents because I have thought about this. I still don't really know who's gonna win, of course. But let's try to work this out a little bit. So with Whittaker, he's got the experience. He is battle tested. He went through Yoel Romero twice, win or lose, or whatever you think about that. It shows he is as tough as it comes. He can definitely hit hard. That was always his thing. He's even a little bit awkward, like especially the way he throws his high kick. And all of these things I feel are experience in his attack. He hides things a little different than most. He doesn't, as basic as it looks like he fights, he doesn't. And he does a lot of trickery to move them one way or another to present those high kicks. And so then we have the other side, which is Israel Adesanya, who is a stand-up master. You want to talk about tricks. You want to talk about high-level striking. He's got the distance. He's got the height. When I see and talk, and I'm talking about this, just working it out in my brain, Whittaker standing up with him can only be so much of it. There has to be a game plan to get him against the fence, slow him down, try to get him down, because if he's just gonna stand up with him, I think Adesanya that's his game. He's gonna do that all day long. Now, if Whittaker tries to go for the shots, which I don't think he's per se the best wrestler. He hasn't done it a lot, but I feel like if he does try, he's got bigger size than like someone like Calvin Gastelum. I think he would have more success getting him down, and if he's able to get him down and really make it worthwhile to where Adesanya slows down, he needs to slow down. Those feet and his body moves so much, you got to gas him out a little bit and slow him down to get those heavier shots in. It's a 5-round fight. Whittaker's bigger than Calvin Gastelum, because I kind of feel some similarities in the way this is going to go. So I really don't know. Like, this would be a fight I would not put money on because I think it can go either way, but we're going to unify the belts. You guys tell me who you guys got, and whoever you got, tell me why you're picking them, as I would like to know that. But obviously, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a huge crowd, big old stadium. So we're going to enjoy that main event. And but let's get a little more nuggets here of the event that's coming up. So let's look at the next fight that I'm super juiced for. Ally Quinta, Dan Hooker. So Ally and Quinta, man, I've been following him since the get-go. He's always shown a toughness. He's always shown the ability to knock somebody out. And in his recent fights where he's gotten a lot more popular, like the Khabib fight, for example, none of that what he was able to do surprised me. What actually surprised me more was him losing to Donald Cerrone. I really thought he could beat Donald Cerrone, but Cerrone just did a great game plan. So with Al, that same type of the reason why Donald beat him is why I feel Al might have a little trouble in this fight. But just based off what I've seen in all of Al's career, all of his fights, everything that I've seen Dan Hooker kind of be able to do, I know it's going to be a fantastic fight, but I feel like Quinta is going to bring a couple of different things. I think he might wrestle a little bit more. I think he's just going to give a lot more of himself to really get this W. I think he realizes Dan Hooker, even though he's so low ranking, and this is where I'm going to bring up those ranks again. I feel like, you know what? I can't lose to a guy that's so low ranked, but Al, being the gangster that he is, taking this fight, being called out, he don't care why, if he's ranked low or anything like that. He got a nice little, I won't call it a vacation, but a nice trip out to Australia. He's going to get paid. He's going to fight all things that he enjoys. So I'm a little bit of a sucker for Ally Quinta just because I've been a fan for so long. Dan Hooker, though, a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for his skills and what he's done, even showing the freaking toughness with man, sometimes I forget these names out of nowhere. But basically when he took that liver shot or plenty of body shots from Barbosa, it really showed, look, this guy is tough. He's got the skills, and he's going to be in his hometown. He's going to bring it. So this is going to be an awesome fight. All right, let's keep it going. What else we got? So, you know, you can't go wrong when you got some heavyweights. You got some heavyweights here that are... Oh, I'm getting hit up. Like, is somebody in the live chats? I think so. That's what it is. Nas, I see you. All right, so I'll let you know, Nas, and everybody else who's watching this right now. I got a bunch of things going on right now. So I want to be able to get to the point where I got the chat going and I can see it. But rated over here is on the ones and twos. You know, I can't just do everything. But let's see. He's got a question. Can I see you? Yes, I can. Ask me a question. You goof, you're supposed to ask me a question. But hey, let's keep this going. So, Tai Tuivasa, a heavyweight that I think is going to be around a long time. He's still young. He's obviously already in the UFC. He's gotten some good wins. He lost to Junior Dos Santos, who's a heavy hitter. I mean, he's going to be able to knock anybody out on any given day. In that fight, I think Tai Tuivasa was feeling himself a bit too much. But I think that's the way it goes, right? These guys come up and they do take some losses sometimes, or maybe they win, but they learn a lot in that given fight that was tough. And so Tai, I just kind of see him as he's just going to keep getting better. He's starting to slim down too, so he's going to keep getting faster. He's going to keep moving around more, and I think that's the prime heavyweight right there. Just like Stipe, he doesn't need to be the biggest. He needs to be able to move, and I think that's where the success is going to be at. So Tai Tuivasa and this gentleman Spivak that I don't really know much of, they're obviously bringing the Australian fans out for Tai Tuivasa. But hey, Tai needs to kind of keep the ball rolling, right, before they kind of give him another big name again. So I would say perfect fight for him to give us some heavyweight action. All right, let's see who else we got. Oh, yeah, a little more Australian action. So Megan Anderson. So I fell in love with Megan when I saw her. She either won the belt or defended it in Invicta for the 145-pound belt. And from there, I was like, oh man, her and Cyborg, that's gonna happen. Now, when I saw that fight, I saw toughness, I saw skill, and most of all, a body type that is not typical. She's tall, she's obviously long, and so with those high kicks that she was doing, with those hands that she was throwing, man, I was in love. But we've now seen take her to the ground. She has a tough time getting back up. Just kind of needs to maybe embrace jiu-jitsu down there a little bit more if that was to happen. So Megan is, at this point, I feel still just a diamond in the rough. Every time she can get out there and the more experience that she can get, we're going to really see that flower blossom. Like, I see the potential that's there. Kind of like Stefan Struve. When I saw Stefan Struve early on, I was like, dude, if he can manage that distance, he can pick apart just about anybody. That's what I thought. I'm no pro, but you would think if he can utilize his length, which he's always talked about, gets better at it, but he's not great at it. So with Megan, I feel she has that possibility there. She should be able to beat anyone on any given day. And so I'm excited to see her fight, number one. Number two, my question to you guys, what do you guys think will happen to the women's 145-pound division? So obviously we got Amanda Nunes. Bouncing off of 2 weight classes is always a little tricky, but hey, that's the idea. So okay. We got a new name. Her name was Zara Fern. She's been fighting at 145, so that's cool. But she doesn't have a ton of experience. So it's good to put it in here, but we need to have like a list of 145ers fighting all the time to really build a division. So if Amanda, let's say, decides I'm done with 145 or done fighting, whatever it is, we got no Cyborg, right? She's in Bellator now. If anything, Bellator's seeming a little bit more exciting for 145. So what do you guys think? Are we going to lose it? Are they going to actually build it? Is Megan the face of 145 in our future? How about this one? Do you think Amanda and Megan do collide at some point? Like, it does need to happen, even though she lost to Holly Holm. Who knows, right? And that's why we love MMA. There's a lot of if, ands, or buts. And then we have this show like this where we can talk MMA. And that's all I got for you guys for today. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this fairly short. With 2 events, obviously there's a lot to kind of chew on right here, but there's a big fight event this Saturday. What I hope to do is, as topics kind of come up, maybe I can just do a quick video there. But again, I thank you guys for your support. Your comments are always straight to my heart because it's a lot of work that I've put in and continue to put into this. So if you guys are appreciating it and letting me know, I appreciate you calling it out like that. So again, let me give you this right here. Boom, my end screen. So please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We got our other different links right there. Follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. Let's talk some more MMA. And until next time, peace.